Automation video games are simulation games that allow players to design and program systems to automate various tasks and processes. These games typically involve resource management, optimization, and problem-solving skills. Players can use a variety of tools to create and fine-tune their automated systems and product chains, which can range from simple machines to complex factories. We've found 10 of those games and played them. Factorio is a real-time strategy game where the player takes on the role of an engineer stranded on a remote planet. The player starts by gathering resources, creating automated production lines, researching technology, and defending their base from enemies. The objective is to build and expand a self-sustaining factory complex to survive and advance in the game, unlocking new technologies by researching and using the tech tree. The game is somewhat open-ended, with no specific end goal, allowing players to focus on optimizing their factory and improving efficiency. You could just stop after launching your first rocket, but you don't have to. It offers a single-player campaign and multiplayer modes, as well as a rich modding community, allowing players to customize their game experience. With challenging gameplay, addictive mechanics, and a thriving community, Factorio has become a popular game among strategy and automation enthusiasts. There is even a decent speedrunning community. I give Factorio 5 out of 5 stars. Satisfactory is a first-person, open-world, sandbox game where the player takes on the role of a so-called pioneer, working for the big company, Fixit, on an alien planet. The player must gather resources, build machines and factories, and automate production lines to create a self-sustaining colony. The game features a vast and diverse ecosystem with different biomes, hostile creatures, and environmental hazards that pose challenges to the player's survival. As the player progresses, they unlock new technologies via the hub terminal, the space elevator and the MAM, and upgrades to enhance their factories and explore further into the planet. Satisfactory offers a multiplayer mode, allowing players to collaborate or compete with each other. The game has a strong emphasis on automation, logistics, and efficiency, providing players with lots of possibilities to optimize their production lines and improve their factories. There is also a strong modding community, offering quality of life upgrades where the vanilla version falls short. Even though the game is still in early access and has a few bugs, I still rate Satisfactory with 5 out of 5 stars. Mindustry is a hybrid tower defense and resource management game that combines strategy, logistics, and automation mechanics. The player is tasked with gathering resources, processing them into valuable materials, and defending their base from enemy attacks while playing through 2 big campaigns. The game also features a tech tree, allowing players to unlock new machines, weapons, and upgrades as they progress. Mindustry also allows playing in multiplayer mode, where players can collaborate against the AI or compete with each other in PvP matches. There are a few things I didn't like. The final boss wave is way too strong compared to all other waves before, often resulting in losing the mission. Also, there are a few quality of life features missing, especially regarding the user interface. But if you're looking for a casual-style Factorio game, Mindustry is a great pickup. You can either play for free on the official IO page or buy it on Steam and get achievements, better multiplayer support and more. I rate Mindustry 4 out of 5 stars. Final Upgrade is best described as Factorio in space. You are an AI that only has one goal: save humanity and reach a population of 1 billion people. To do that, you need to colonize planets, start gathering and processing ores, build advanced factories and unlock new technologies using the tech tree. To transport resources, build factories, mine asteroids, and fight enemy factions, you will need to design and build spaceships, which is an integral mechanic of the game. I really like the automation portion, because building product chains and planning out shipping routes is a lot of fun. The combat, however, is awful. Sometimes you can't even differentiate between your own and enemy ships. And if you're using the automated combat, you often kill your own ships due to friendly fire. Combat is sadly a necessity, because in order to reach your final goal, you will need to attack and conquer occupied space. Final Upgrade fully released in 2022, but is still getting regular updates. So maybe combat will be more enjoyable in the future. But for now, I rate Final Upgrade with 3.5 stars. Released in 2021, Factory Town features a distinctive graphic style as well as a more casual approach to the automation genre. The game itself is about gathering the 4 different currencies and using them to build and upgrade your production chains, unlock new technologies and make your town people happy by fulfilling their needs. Transportation and the use of available space are key components of the game. You can use people, chutes, wagons, trains and conveyor belts to transport all resources and create your automation network. Currently, you have the choice of playing the 8-mission-long campaign or using the sandbox mode, where you can freely explore the game. The missions are fun, but the starting towns are often badly built and annoying, which oftentimes incentivizes you to destroying them and starting from scratch. Also, the pacing of the game is fairly slow, which leads to a lot of waiting time to gather certain currencies or resources. And you often have to deal with choke points, which create traffic jams. Even if you're trying to be efficient, you can't always avoid them. Factory Town is fun, but really casual. I rate it 4 out of 5 stars. Astro Colony looks like Satisfactory in space, but has its own and unique ideas. You have to gather your first resources from asteroids by hand, research new technologies and eventually automate everything or at least as much as possible. Later on, you can even deplete resources from planetoids. As you progress, you can also build engines and fly through the universe, finding new resources and planets. But be careful, you might also encounter cosmic events like comets, electricity storms, or even black holes. Those can damage your ship if you don't avoid them. The goal as of right now is simple: find a black hole, build a Stargate, and jump through it. Repeat that 10 times to get the final achievement on Steam. This alone shows that the game is still early in its development phase, and is going to be in early access for a while. So it still has a few bugs and isn't even close to being polished or balanced. I also really wished I didn't have to get a lot of information for in-game mechanics from the official Discord server or the Steam forum. I still rate Astro Colony 4 out of 5 stars right now, with the potential of becoming a 5-star game in the future. Shapes is one of those automation puzzle games that successfully made the jump from a free-to-play game on itch.io to Steam. While the game looks easy, it is hard to master, and as you progress through the different levels, you have to build more and more complex factories to reach your goal. For each level, you have to combine the 3 colors and 4 different shapes of the map and create another shape, using a few different tools. Sadly, once you've reached level 27, you will only get randomized shapes and don't really see anything new anymore. You can at least grind 45 different and challenging Steam achievements for fun. Another annoying part is that some later mechanics aren't really explained, and to find the right solution for a puzzle, I had to use Google, which isn't where you want to be in a puzzle game. You also oftentimes have to idle and wait for enough shapes to produce to reach the next level, because building another factory wouldn't be worth your time. So while the game starts out strong, it gets stale fairly soon. I still had fun for a few hours and the price is more than fair, but I really hope Shapes 2 gets a bit more creative. I give Shapes 3 out of 5 stars. Tower defense, resource management, and automation. Project Astra Dominium is best described as a mix of different genres coming together. The idea behind the game is actually interesting and unique. Instead of using a pickaxe to mine ores, you start a tower defense mission on different planets and get resource drops by killing enemies. It is important to understand that the game is in the very early stages of early access, and as of right now, there isn't much content. Currently you can only grind through a handful of missions to get resources. At home, you use these to somewhat automate your smelting and crafting to unlock better automation upgrades. Sadly, crafting doesn't really benefit the tower defense part right now. You can get more resource drops, but that's about it. As for now, your goal is getting all Steam achievements, which include crafting objectives, killing a certain amount of enemies, or reaching a high account level. In the current state, I can't recommend buying the game. Put it on your wish list and make sure to check on the upcoming updates. Once the game has some more content, you should think about giving it a try. But for now, I can only give Project Astra Dominium 2 out of 5 stars. Autonauts is a factory and product chain game with focus on pure automation. In the game, you build and utilize robots known as Autonauts, which are used to automate different tasks. They learn those tasks by following you and repeating what you do. They also have limited memory capacity, but as you progress, you can build better Autonauts, which will allow you to give them more tasks. The goal of the game is to build your own city by progressing through 8 stages of city development. Each stage gives you new research, new buildings, and new resources to utilize. You also unlock different skins, which will individually change your and your Autonauts' appearances. Since there are no conveyor belts, only the Autonauts are used for the automation part of the game. And while you start out fairly simple with chopping down some trees or gathering wood, later on the product chains get more and more complex. The game is great, the only exception being the controls, which sometimes feel a bit clunky. But otherwise, I can fully recommend the game to anyone that is into the automation genre. I give Autonauts 5 out of 5 stars. Dyson Sphere program is heavily inspired by Factorio, but the automation game does put its own unique spin on the genre. Foremost, you're controlling a mech unit that needs fuel to generate energy. You can also upgrade the mech by researching, allowing you to become more efficient and eventually even fly through space to new planets. The core concept, however, is fairly basic. You start out by mining the first ores by hand, craft your first few drills and factories, and start automating the process. Then you produce your first of 5 different science packs called Matrix and begin researching through the tech tree, unlocking new buildings and resources. As you progress, you eventually have to leave your first planet and look for new resources on other worlds and star systems and bring those resources back to your home world. The game looks great, but is still in early access. Especially the pacing is not great, as you oftentimes have to wait for research to catch up. Also, a lot of new technologies feel boring and useless, as you don't need them to progress, and combat is currently in development and not implemented yet. All in all, I give Dyson Sphere Program 4.5 out of 5 stars right now. So, what do you think of these automation games? Do you know any other automation games I should try? Let me know in the comments and have fun building and automating.